If you're a fan of the Nissan Skyline R34 like I am, I've got a lot of fun projects lined up for this car. We've already recorded a few of them, but today we're going to be installing this air filter system from Blitz and also an engine cross brace here for the strut towers. A couple of simple projects, but I thought you might be interested in see what the installation looks like. Let's get right into it. I'm going to start by tackling this air filter installation first. Now, these performance air filters can always be a little bit of hit or miss of how they're going to fit in the aftermarket situation here. But let's go ahead and start digging into this box and see what's on the inside. This is made by Blitz. You've got their set of instructions all in Japanese. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read that, but we've got a nice large clamp. We've got a bracket to connect the air filter. And of course, we've got our air filter in there. This is actually kind of a cool design. I think it'll look good with the color of this car. I'm not sure it'll add much by way of performance or horsepower, but let's go ahead and give it a try. Now, this is not terribly difficult to install, other than the fact that the instructions I've got are not in English, so that's going to make it a little bit more tricky, but I think we know we've got to remove a portion of this air cleaner. Probably the whole air box has got to come out, and then we'll have to connect this bracket somehow to where the mass airflow sensor is. So let's get right into it and see what this thing involves. I'm going to start by removing this air intake snorkel on here, a couple of clips on the bottom. This will pop out. Then we've got some clips here on the air box. We'll remove the air filter. I'm going to remove the bolts that hold the lower air box in. Remove the clamp on the mass airflow sensor ductwork. We'll unplug the mass airflow sensor. We'll see if we can remove this air box. Now, this feels like it's been on here for a lot of years. We're going to go ahead and use a hose hook tool on here to see if we can separate this a little from the box without destroying it. It's not easy to get parts for this car at all. I don't want to break anything if we can avoid it, especially considering the age of this car. We've got one more bolt hiding down here. And then we'll try to remove this clip on here. All right. There we have it. The air box is out, the lower portion. And I'm sure we're going to have to separate this mass airflow sensor off of here. Let's go ahead and pull that off. It's got 4 bolts that hold it in place. Take that one out. And I think we're probably going to discard this air box. It looks like we don't need that anymore. All right, so I got this mass airflow sensor. I'm just going to clean it up a tiny bit. And then I want to install this bracket on here. And this bracket's designed to go on the back side of this. And to give myself a little extra room, because this air filter is large, I'm going to flip this bracket upside down. I could go like this or like this, but I think this is going to make more sense. They do give you 4 new bolts with nylock locking nuts. There's also a bracket here that's supposed to help you, it looks like, mount it to the body. This bracket. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work. It looks like it may need some kind of a spacer or something, but we're going to put it on here and see how it fits. Maybe we can stretch it across and make it work. I'm just trying to give this a test fit right now and see if this bracket's actually going to be useful or not. We might need to put an extension on it or something. Figure out some way to make this mount a little bit nicer. Well, let's go ahead and put this together where it seems to make the most sense, and then we'll go from there. Well, got 4 bolts here. We'll just kind of tighten these up. Alright, so now I've got my bracket installed on the mass airflow sensor. There's a few bolts that hold it in place, and then there's also this extra bracket that bolts to the body over here using one of the existing holes for the air box. So I'm going to go ahead and put this all in and see if we're going to make it work or not. I don't know exactly how this has got to be lined up. I guess we'll figure it out once we get in there. May need to adjust it, may need to bend something. It's a fairly large air cleaner that's got to go in a hole that's probably not so large. So let's see how this all fits in here. So the way this air filter fits in, it's got a rubber ring around it, and then that ring is designed to sit around this giant lip on here with a hose clamp. So I think we're just going to throw this in here. Looks like it fits in there pretty nice. And then we've got a hose clamp for it here. And we'll throw this hose clamp on. That's quite large as well. Let's see if we can get this clamp tightened up just a bit, make it fit better. All right, I think we can find a spot where it's easy to access in the car. I think maybe like this probably will work. It'll give you a lot of room in there. Let's get it close and see where it lines up. I'm just trying to make this even all the way around here. It's got a lot of room for movement, I guess, if you want to call it that. Looks like that should be pretty good. Something we can easily access later. All right, so here's what it looks like all installed. And then all we should have to do now is plug this in, make this bracket work, plug our mass airflow sensor back in, and I think we'll be back in action here. See how this all fits. I'm gonna get my hose clamp in place to get that ready, lined up where it belongs. I'm gonna take a little dab of WD-40 here and clean up my boot. This way it fits nice. Wipe a little bit back so it's not excessive in there. Now let's see if this thing fits. Try to keep it all clean here while we're working on it. Looks pretty close there. Get my hose clamp back in place. That fell off. And I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up a little bit. enough so I can spin it and get my bracket located where I want it. It seems to fit pretty good right there. You tighten that down. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be touching anything. I think I like that fitment right here. And then we can put the hose clamp a little bit tighter here around the mass airflow sensor. And let's plug that back in. It looks a little cleaner if we go underneath now. Then we'll tighten up the bracket here for the support on this air filter and air box. Yeah, that feels pretty sturdy. Point it down just a little bit. Hopefully we can close the hood here. It looks like it's going to have some clearance here, not a lot, but hopefully it fits in this cavity somewhere. I'm going to just go ahead and bend this bracket a tiny bit down as far as it'll go. Right there. Just to make sure we clear the hood on there. Wipe that back. Now I think that looks like it's in there pretty good. The last little bit now is what to do with this guy. We've got this duct work here. It used to feed the old air box, and it was sitting up in here. I don't see any advantage to putting that back in here, although we could. We're going to save this for Roger, the owner, and see if he wants to reinstall it like that, or if he'd rather just leave it off. So I think if it was me, I'd probably just leave it out of here. I don't see it doing a great job at feeding any air into this air filter at all. We're not getting any ram air power out of this or anything like that, so probably just going to toss this. All right, now that we got that air filter installed, looks pretty clean. I think it looks kind of cool under the hood. The blue matches the car. I think that's what we were going for on here. Probably not going for horsepower or performance on it. Just want it to look pretty cool. And then we've got this matching Blitz engine support bar that goes across the top. This is going to go between the strut towers to help stiffen up the vehicle. Although we've already got one in there, so I don't think this is going to be all that functional. But what it will do is look pretty cool, because we've got these matching blue braces that are going to go on the end of here, and they're going to go across the top, and it should dress this up just a tiny bit and make it look a little bit cooler than it does at the moment. So let's go ahead and strip this down and get it installed. This should go pretty straightforward. I think all we got to do here is remove this little bracket for the cable, throttle cable, and we can take some nuts off here. We'll do the same on the other side. Put that right there. And this piece will come right off. All right, so now we're ready to install our brackets here on the strut towers. We'll put these on first, reuse these old nuts. Before I tighten it all up, we're going to make sure this brace fits properly. Let's get the one on the other side. Put this one over here. And kind of loosely install these for now. There's just a little bit of room to wiggle those around. And then we're going to drop this brace in here. See if we can get some holes lined up with our new hardware. Let's go ahead and put a washer on that. New nut. Leave that loose for a second until we get the other side. this one on the other side. These holes are slotted on here, so they give us a little bit of room to move this back and forth. The other one was adjustable, the old piece. This one is not really adjustable as much, other than those slotted holes. Just forgot my lock washer there. All right, so before I tighten that up, I'm going to tighten these bolts here on the tops of the strut towers, or I should say the nuts. Go ahead and tighten this one up. Got a master cylinder in the way on this side. All right, the only thing we've got left here now is this bracket for the throttle cable. Now it's got a bracket here that holds it, and it's fixed here. So I've got about maybe a 12, 14 inches of run where it's not nothing holding it. So I don't really think we need this. So my plan here is just to cut this off of here and get rid of it. I don't think it's necessary. And it's certainly not going to work with this new strut tower brace. So we're just going to clip that and pop it off the cable. And this cable is not really rubbing anything. Like I said, it's fixed right here at this bracket. And I think it's going to be fine without this. No problem. All right, well, here's the completed look now. I think the blue accents make it look pretty nice. I know it's not adding a lot of extra function to it. And neither really is this air filter for that matter. Maybe get an extra horsepower or two, possibly. I don't know what their claims state on there, but I think it looks good on there and certainly helps tie under the hood to the rest of the color scheme on the car here. So definitely a good choice here if you're trying to dress up the engine bay just a tiny bit. All right, guys, that's about wrapping up this tiny project we've got here for today. Hope you guys enjoy this type of content on this car. This is a pretty unique car, this R34, imported from Japan. We've got some other videos we've created on here. We're going to create on here some other projects to do. We're going to be putting in the Blitz full coilovers all the way around on here. We've got some brakes and rotors. We're going to be dressing up as brake calipers, new paint job on them, and a ton of other stuff we're doing on here. So if you're enjoying this content on the Nissan Skyline and want to see a little bit more of this car, stay tuned to our channel, the OrtoTech Garage. We've got new videos coming out every Thursday. Make sure you go ahead and ring that bell so you get notifications when our new videos drop. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, we appreciate your support. We've got lots of other great content you can watch right now, right down here in the corner. Go ahead and check that out. And be sure to check our playlist. We've got tons of videos in there that you might find interesting and or useful. We're here to save you some time and money and also try to give you a little entertainment here in the automotive world. Thanks for watching OrtoTech Garage. We'll see you in the next one.